high feed so that you know you have reached the depth of 93 thousandths, which we know is the correct depth for these gears that I am trying to replicate. One of the beautiful things about using a dividing head that divides or has a ratio that is between this, the worm spindle, and the primary spindle of a factor of 60, is that if you were to make even a relatively large error, it would be reduced by 60 times less. Now obviously you try to be as exact as possible, but even if you do make a slight error, it will be reduced by a factor of 60, and that will be quite microscopic at the other end. In fact, many times you can actually round off, say, a fourth decimal point or even a third decimal point in a calculation and still be end up with a gear that is quite workable. Now I went past 24, that's why you saw me return the dial and then go back to that spot. Okay, and here you should be able to see the progress of our milling. These little lines that will eventually have that slight V shape to them will inform the teeth of the gear are perfectly equally spaced. I have about 10 of them now, and I will continue until I have finished, and then we'll come back and deepen it a little bit more. Well, I think by now it's readily apparent how this goes, so I will go ahead and give you a break, and when we return I will be a lot further along, and we'll take that last clean up pass and actually check it for mesh against a stock gear for the lathe and see how good we have milled this little sample here. By the way, the dividing head was built from scratch, totally. The procedure on how this was built is covered on a quite long videotape, actually 12 hours, which covers the construction of this milling machine as well as the complete construction of this dividing head. And that is available direct through me. If you are interested, you can email me or write to me, and I'll be glad to describe the video. Or you can look at our webpage, the TEG webpage that is run by Nicholas Carter, and there you will find complete information as well as an article which I wrote covering the planning stages and procedures that I used, as well as what actual existing components made by TEG I used for the mill. It was kind of a hybrid, but one that I'm sure you'll agree is working pretty flawlessly. Okay, so we'll see you back in a few minutes. Actually, it'll be a second for you. And and we will have this little gear nearly completely milled. Well, it's been approximately 1 hour real time, and as you can see, I have finished milling the gear.